Ladies and gentlemen, we'll welcome you here to the state of Texas in the United States of America for the Formula One circuit known collectively as Circuit of the Americas. I'm Insane Layer 13, and once again, I'm joined by XRL Ozda. Ozda, it's great to have you here on my side of the pond today. How are you doing?
I'm good, yeah. It's going to be an interesting race here, as I did Development League yesterday, as you know, because you did commentary on it. Very good wheel-to-wheel action throughout that race. It was a very enjoyable one. Q qualifying wasn't very action-packed, but the race is definitely going to be. We're going to see some nice overtakes, some side-by-side action, so maybe some free-ride action as well on the straights.
I don't know if I'd say qualifying was uninteresting. I mean, you gotta give Alfa Romeo credit for putting a warp drive in their cars and setting that time of 11 thousandth of a second per lap.
I mean, yeah, that was quite impressive. I don't think I've ever seen a lap like that ever. So props to Alfa Romeo for doing that. But yeah, so we'll see what people should be faster in X3 than Dev. But obviously, sometimes that doesn't work out, depending on what circuit it is.
Alright, so obviously the big difference in qualifying from today compared to yesterday. Yesterday there were only 14 drivers who got to start the race. So Q1 basically ended up being an extended practice session. Some drivers just went out there and burned a set of intermediate or wet tires just so they could preserve tires in the race themselves.
Talking about intermediates.
This is where the fun begins.
Yeah, we were very lucky in Dev to have a dry race and dry quality, so these guys not very fortunate, but yeah, we could see how some guys are going to be dealing with the wet. So the weather is wet quality obviously and a dry race, so that should be interesting, seeing people with dry setups in the wet.
So the big thing obviously is the track's wet. There's no DRS going to be enabled, and then not to mention you're also going to be going a lot slower. Typically though, dry setups with wet tires run faster than wet setups with dry tires. So, with the chance that we may go dry in the race itself, do you think we'll see drivers try and hurriedly change their setup now in qualifying to get that better start at the grid, or do you think everyone would rather, take a worse qualifying spot in order to try and lock in a potential good run near the end of the race itself?
I would probably think that the second option, so people will have a worse qualifying position to get a better start in the race. So yeah, I think people will just, we already have a car off to kill Jackson in the wall. So yeah, I think people will try and just, try and survive qualifying, because obviously, wet in F1 2020, very hyper-realistic. You do one small move, as we've seen Curtis Jackson do, and you're in the wall. So, yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what times are going to be posted and who's going to be at the top. Because I know a few drivers in here who have been really good with wet, but I don't think we've had a wet race for a while, have we?
I believe Spa was the last time there was any significant element of rain.
Sorry, Sinafara, he's hit the wall in the S's, so we've had two people spin already, and it's not even done the positive last time yet.
And these incidents are happening when these guys are on full wet weather tires. There are only 3 cars right now who are running intermediates: XRL, Steel, Retro, and Otwi. Everyone else is running the full wets, and they're still having trouble maintaining traction here on this course.
Yeah, obviously, most drivers don't practice for wet. You don't really go into a race and it's going to rain, because you don't know what the weather's going to be like, because obviously our league runs dynamic weather, so you never know what the weather's going to be like when it goes into the race. Obviously some places have higher chance than others, so yeah.
Tino Farah just blew through several of the signboards there on the run down to the hairpin. There's basically nothing downforce-wise produced by that front wing. It's basically a front wing from 1982 ripped out with time and put on a 2020 car.
I think he doesn't have a wing, does he? Yeah, he has no wing.
No, he does, but he basically has the equivalent of a 1982 Formula One wing.
Oh yeah, he has like one strip of wing. But yeah, so wet is going to be very challenging on the circuit.
Oh, Red Books has gone off also.
Yeah,
Books has gone off as well in the S's now.
But Sherwood, he's going to be the first person to set a lap time here. He's very eager to get out on track. Yeah, so yesterday we actually saw some new drivers.
Another car's off in the S's. I'm trying to see who that is. That was Smish. He's back underway. Yeah, Smish is back underway. And Turbo's gone off as well, just a little bit ahead of Scholl. Now Scholl's gotten by him already though. But Turbo's going to pull over and let some of the other cars by. So yeah, right now it seems like the challenge is going to be just setting a lap. We're already down to only 13 minutes, 39 seconds left in the session. No one's been able to set a lap yet, although Scholl's coming by and will prove me wrong, I believe, in just a few seconds here.
Yes, he's going to post a 1:52.6. Fastest lap time so far, obviously, because it's the only lap time right now. I think the next person was going to be Killer Jackson, but he obviously binned it. So I think the next person is R18. He's on intermediate tyre. So let's see if the intermediate tyre is better than the wet. I don't think it will be in these conditions now. But coming around the final corner now, let's see what he's going to set. Is the intermediate tyre quicker in these conditions? Has a little bit twitch, but they are quicker.
They do seem to be quicker, but Retro was really struggling to keep that car on the track properly, though. So I don't know if you can run a race on the intermediates, let alone more than 2 or 3 laps on them.
Yeah, obviously R18 are not going to be able to worry about, you know, the wet tyres, and we have a Williams off that on a show to some people by. But yeah,
Fritz has gotten by now, as has Smish. Smish went around though, so Smish's time is 2 minutes and 4 seconds. Then you have Fritz who's at 1:52.486. There's roughly a 1.5 second spread between Retro's intermediate time and Fritz's wet weather time. But I do want to say this. Well, there you are. Tone to the top. 150.824 on the full weather wets.
Yes, it seems like maybe these top drivers that we would usually see at the top are struggling with the wet weather conditions. I thought, you know, the intermediates are going to be quicker. As actually, he's a 150.4, 4 times quicker than Tone. So it's kind of a mix between what set we have, I'm guessing, because, you know, the wet tyres do seem quicker than the intermediates, but on some sets, intermediates seem to be quicker. So it's all about your car control and stuff like that. Yeah, it's just about, you know, Snake, he does a 150.5 on wets. So he's the quickest of the wet runners. So yeah, it's all down to, you know, car control and, you know, trying to keep it stable through these corners.
Just a second, trying to check something right now. Right now I'm looking at Careless Jackson on the stream. He's gotten back out, replaced the wing, replaced the damage. He's on new full wet weather tires, so...
Herbie goes 5th with 152.3 on the wets. So he's looking to seem quite competitive, but his best mate Smish beats him with a 151.8. That puts him in 5th and puts Herbie back down to 6th. Right now we have a few people still in the pits. Constant Jet, Fine Modo, Fine Modo just coming out actually, and Whippy is still in the pits. Gargo, he's coming around the final vehicle, is now set a lap time. He is our championship leader in constructors, and the constructors, sorry, drivers. And also I think our Alfa Romeo winning constructors. I'll have a look now, give me a second. Well, Cargo
was put down a very, very good first sector, but nearly went all the way around.
After he beats him.
149. Yeah, Books was in the middle of kind of a flying lap. He got out of sector 1 with a bunch of time gained, and then immediately went around to the very last corner of the S's. He got back underway, didn't hit anything, but still Just being able to keep the car on track, obviously being the biggest issue. We're also far enough into the session, though, and enough cars are out that we see one dry line that's forming around the track. But off that drier line, it is so wet and so slick that it's almost impossible to keep everything good. And someone else, one of the Renaults, has gone off again in the S's. I think that's Tino Farah. Yeah, Tino Farah went off again in the S's.
And a McLaren.
That would be Stumpy. Stumpy is completely torn off the wing in a similar way that Carlos Jackson did earlier.
So, Retro now in the 1:48, so nearly a second quicker than R18's time. So, because these guys are in intermediates, it could seem like the track is drying out a little bit, but not too much. So
I think what we're seeing is that on the racing line itself, because there are so many cars going through it with hot tires, it's keeping the racing line drier. But the moment you get off the racing line, you have so much trouble keeping control. I can watch like anyone else who is running the full wets. They're not having a problem whether it's the drier or the wetter sections of the circuit. But for the intermediate guys, they're way faster than the wets, but the moments that they seem to get one tire, or two tires I should say, off of the drier racing line, everything falls apart for them.
Yeah,
We're basically operating on like the tightest of knife edges right now.
Yeah, I get what you mean. So obviously, it's like with real F1, you know, when you're in the dry, obviously the racing line is better because, you know, you'll keep the tires warmer, and also you won't go in the marbles and damage your tires and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, obviously the drier line, basically everybody's been out now, so you've had like 20 cars go around 3 times, or 2 times, or 1 time, whatever. So that racing line is going to be not really dry, but dry enough to get on the intermediates, as you said before. So yeah, and yeah, so as I said before, you know, it's a fine line between
Tino Farah has now gone around in the S's.
Ooh, again? He's not having a good time.
All of the Renault powered cars seem to be struggling excessively. Carlos Jackson has
Oh,
gone
another
off as well.
Herbie's gone off again. No, that's not Herbie, that's Tino, sorry, remember.
That's Tino Farah, yeah.
Yeah, just from the angle, I thought it was Herbie because he's coming through the F sectors now. Yeah, obviously, it's not, because I was talking to her about, I was talking to her about the realistic league that we just done before. We're obviously equal performance, so the cars are all the same, you know, engines, they're all the same, but there's like a percentage
the setup
of people
that they may have put on.
Yeah, the setup that they make, but it's also a percentage of people can feel the difference between a Red Bull and a Williams. It's only a little percentage, but you know, if you are that 1 or 2%, then it's going to really hurt you. So yeah, we're seeing a lot of people going intermediates now. So the rain or the dry line seems to be dry enough for intermediates now. But we still have a few people on wets. Well, actually, only Tino Farah's on the wets, and he, you know, has got wing damage. So that tells you something that maybe the intermediates are the right choice for these drivers here.
Brooks is on another outlap after nearly turning the car and ruining it a little bit earlier. But with about 5.5 minutes left in the session, we still have 4 drivers who have yet to set times. The only thing that seems for certain, though, is everyone has pretty much agreed at this point that the intermediates are the way to go.
Yeah, obviously there's basically 2 people, except from 2 people, no, not 1 person, is on the intermediates now. So, you know, obviously the intermediates going to be way quicker than the softs. Wet, sorry. So yeah, maybe.
I mean, intermediates will be faster than the softs in the rain, to be fair.
Yeah, that's true. But we could see maybe, if it is drying out, we could see maybe a dry Q3. But we don't know just yet. As I think that is Carlos Jackson. He's gone around in turn 1. Has he got wing damage?
No, Carlos Jackson It looked like Careless Jackson, I believe Constant Jet pulled over way
Okay.
in the runoff in turn 1 to just waiting for some clean track to show up. With a 20-car field, yes, this may be one of the larger circuits in America in terms of length. Normally, America has slightly shorter, smaller road courses. But by American standards, this is a large track. But by Formula 1 standards, this is kind of an average size, so you have to wait a little bit to find that ideal clean track.
Yeah, and obviously, if any of you guys want to do an XRL, this is a very, very good tip that you need to know. Well, not tip, a rule. You cannot have a slipstream from anyone other than your teammate. So that's why you'll see drivers maybe at an end of sector 3 track, just slowing down, wait for people to go, so then you don't get accused of using their toe. When you're not your teammates. So if you're in your teammates, you can do what you want. You can settle toes, and I think that is Cargo. He's gonna run.
Cargo,
yeah.
Cargo went around there at the exit of the S's. Right up there also, it's not as evident with the Formula 1 car because of all the innate downforce, but the car gets really, really light coming out of there because you've been doing nothing but the last few corners, whipping that wheel side to side. If the car is not perfectly set up, the entire weight balance is going to feel really, really awkward. You crest to the top of the hill, you put in one more huge turn, just as the car gets as light as possible, and it's really, really easy to get turned around in anything. Not as much in the Formula 1 car, but considering how slick the track is as well, and he was on intermediates, yeah, I'm not surprised we've seen so many people go off in that section of the circuit.
Yeah, I mean, I was struggling with the crest in the dry, so I don't even want to know what it is, like what it's like in the wet. As we have, I think that's a racing point. Retro Richie, maybe? Yeah, he's going around, hit the wall. Turn 1. But yeah, I was finding it horrible in the dry, so I don't even want to know these guys are going through in the wet. Obviously, Retro Richie.
He goes around again now.
Yeah, he had like a snake.
And he stopped on the circuit when there's a Ferrari coming up. He's gonna pull into the grass, and the Ferrari. Sorry, that was an Alpha. But
yeah, now that's
as
a
the
Red
field
Bull.
is coming up. Yeah,
Now
he's
that's
having
a
a lot of
Ferrari.
trouble. Yeah, he's having a lot of trouble getting properly back onto the circuit. A snake.
We're in the pits, yeah.
Okay, he's retired out of the pits. All right, I've seen so
You
many people
scared
go
me
around.
then.
I honestly have expected someone to have DNF'd from crash damage at this point.
Honestly-
the only two drivers who have yet.
Honestly, me too. Like, I'm not joking. These guys are really good, okay? But at least someone's got a DNF in the rain. I mean, it's tradition of X3. So, yeah, I'm surprised no one actually has. DNF just yet. As Tome, he's going really slow. I think he's run out of fuel. No, he's not letting people by. Good lad, knows the rules. So
Jet will finally drift it out of that final corner with a four-wheel slide. He will come across the line with a 1:47.608. That's good enough for 6. Whippy is now the only driver left on the circuit who has yet to set a time. And for Whippy, he needs to be very careful because it's a race to get to the line, and then he has to struggle to make sure that he has a clean time. And aside from Whippy, Tino Farah is like 22 seconds off pace right now. It's not likely that Tino Farah will advance to the next round. XRL Steel and the other Red Bull is a good 3 seconds off. Scholl is off by about 2 seconds, and Fratters is off by about 3/10 off of the 15th spot. So right now, I'm honestly curious to see if Fratters right now is on the circuit. He's ranked through the S's at the moment. This is his only shot at setting a lap right now, though. There's not enough time for him to come by and set another lap.
yeah, Friday's just been knocked out as well. We've been put even more down. So Friday's he needs to, gain that little bit of extra pace to get through to Q2. But I wouldn't cry about not getting through to Q2. Not cry, but you know what I mean. Like have a strop, because USA turn 1, 20 cars doesn't really work out too well for the most part. So being at the back of the grid isn't too bad, as you can avoid all the carnage in turn 1. Oh, that's
Scholl is on the run down to the hairpin right now, while Fratters
Steals
is coming
off.
around.
It's gonna get
Oh
disqualified.
wow! One of the Renaults just come out of nowhere and just body slammed Fratters' machine there, coming out of turn 15. Fratters may be having some lag issues because now he's starting to chaos control all the way around the circuit. And Steel has been disqualified from the session.
Yeah, he was parked too long. He was waiting for people to move, and you can't just stand still. You have to move a little bit. Otherwise, you do get disqualified like he has done. So now you definitely will get through to Q2.
Fratters has jumped into the pits. He will not be able to improve on his time. Turbo has invalidated his current lap. He's up on time, but his lap is invalid. Scholl is up by almost 3 seconds right now as he comes down to turn 19. And Whippy is still in the middle of saying what will be his first lap. So here comes Scholl coming around the final corner. Real aggressive slide coming out of there, but it's good enough for 12th. So he will make it in. So now Fritz is out.
Now Whippy, he's gonna try and set a time here. What's he gonna do? It looks like a pretty decent time. Comes in, doesn't have any DRS. Goes in, he will get in to Q2. That is at least
and one of our championship contenders, Retro Rixie, is going to get knocked out of Q1.
He is. That is not good for Retro Rixie. That's going to extend Cargo's lead even more. Because, you know, Cargo obviously, if he does get pole in Q3, I think he gets points for that. I'm not too sure.
I think you get pole I think you only get points for winning the pole itself. But yeah, with Retro, one of our fastest qualifiers knocked out completely, it's gonna make things really, really crazy here.
Yeah, it is, and you know, now we've got obviously Fine Waldo. He's on the only racing point that's gonna progress to Q2. So he really needs to push against Q3 to get that good, decent starting position to help Racing Point ultimately try and pull back. So, yeah, he needs to. Well, I was doing practice with Waldo the other day, and oh my god, was he quick! So, you know, we could see some very interesting races between the top 3 of Q1 here. Obviously, we don't know if that's going to progress to Q2 or Q3. But, yeah, so Cargo, you know what, Fine Model wasn't that far off Cargo, to be fair. So we could see these two battle each other out for, you know, the top spots in Q2 or Q3.
Yeah, Fine Waldo has been on a bit of a tear these last 2 weeks. Granted, everything kind of went bad against him at Russia, being involved in one of those 2 big accidents and race from the back. But he dominated Suzuka and had one of the fastest laps at Sochi as well. So Fine Waldo's season has turned around. It's just it's come so late in the season that it's not really going to help him too much when it comes to actual pace.
Yeah, Famodo. Oh, it looks pretty dry actually. So we could see a dry Q3. But yeah. Yeah,
we may see a dry Q3. The track is definitely drying out a bit. There's still rain. I can still see rain falling on the circuit.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's definitely not nearly as heavy as it was at the start of Q1. The interesting part will be if the rain stops really, like, in the last 2 to 3 minutes of Q2 here, we may see a flurry of drivers jumping on the softs and trying to knock out drivers who set their laps early in the session. We've seen that happen a few times before.
Yeah. So if it dries out in Q2, maybe, let's say, 5 minutes to the end, you're going to look, you see everybody go on the softs and try and go out. It's still pretty heavy, definitely intermediate, not wet, not at all. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if it does dry in Q2, because then, to be fair, if it does dry in Q2, I don't think people will go on the softs, because if you think about it, with the intermediates, you have a free tyre choice when you go into Q2, or when you go into Q3. Because obviously, if you're going to Q3, you have to start on the tyre you're qualified on. But if you're qualified in the intermediates, then you have a free tyre choice. Whereas if you go on the softs, then you have to start on the softs. So I think drivers, if it does clear out, I think drivers will just stick with their times, unless you're like in the bottom 5 and you need to get into Q2. Smish, he's left. So yeah. I think that's the only reason why people will go on the softs if it does dry out here today.
Yeah, the racing line is still nice and relatively drier and darker than it was at the start of Q1. So yeah, definitely the track is a lot drier and it's maintained a little bit of its heat from the prior session. So this could get really interesting. There is a yellow flag in Sector 3, but it goes away. No one was in that sector, at least not that I could see. So, because I've been... Excuse me. It looks like Snake, Careless Jackson, and Shold will be the first 3 drivers to come across the line in this session, assuming nothing goes wrong for those 3.
Yeah, so Careless Jackson is going to be the first person to set a time here. He will be the benchmark. Obviously, you know, he won Russia. Obviously, you know, I had issues in Japan, which I think I've sorted now, hopefully, praying.
I had a friend look up and they're saying they're having no problem hearing you right now. So any issues you've had are non-existent right now.
Oh, and that is Stumpy. He just won in the S's. Cargo's retired.
And Cargo is retired.
He's died. He's
Cargo, we have no good camera angle, but he has gone off the circuit after turn 19, skidded through the gravel trap, and totaled his car on the wall there.
I believe he's gonna get a view of it. Let's see here. Slowing down for yellow flags. Good.
The car's already gone. No, there it is. Oh wow, he traveled a long way. And again, that's one of your drivers on the Alfa Romeo team. And just for a reminder, the Alfa Romeo team, they're fighting for points in the Manufacturers Championship. But not to mention, when it comes to the Drivers Championship as well, Cargo is your points leader. So Cargo wrecks out of Q2, and his biggest rival point, Retro Ixie, doesn't even make it into Q2. So this is gonna get really, really weird. And now Boothy's going around. Boothy's just turned it around there in the S's, and he's banged off the inside wall in the process. But both of our championship leaders are not gonna start any better than 15th.
So Snake setting the fastest lap here for 1:46.3. You know, some people actually is going to be looking to beat that tone. He in Q3, Q1 on the wets was kind of competitive. So I'm looking for a good result from him, and that is that's Snake, I think. Oh, the yellow flag. That's just must have been Go-Masters, I think. But yeah, so. I think Snake will be happy with that time unless he wants to go for another lap. Actually, now coming around the final corner, what is he going to set as he crosses the line? Is he going to beat Snake? He does by 1/10. That is pretty amazing.
So I'm riding on board with Books right now on the back straightaway. I don't see any rain on the back section of the circuit anymore.
Yeah, so there's no rain. Oh, after he goes around, hits a wall, and he's lost all of his wing. But yeah, there's no rain actually falling. So we could see a dry track pretty soon, but as I said before, I don't think Yaz will actually, go out, as you know, if you're going into finish over 3 territory. So, yeah, Shold now, he's gonna come through and set a lap time here pretty soon. But Boothy, he's gonna be and he's going in the pits obviously, as he did spin and, a little bit of his way. But Shold now, coming around this corner. Very terrifying corner because the back end can step at you at any minute. Obviously this is where Cargo went off, unfortunately for him. Going to be progressing through to Q3 today. I think that was probably commentator's curse as Shaw crosses the line. What is he going to do? 1:47.1. Not a very good time.
It's not a bad time.
Yeah, not a bad time, but I think he'll want to improve on that time and maybe get and challenge the Mercs of Bucks and Snake. Just to point out, the Mercs are doing pretty well, don't you think?
I will agree. The Mercs are finally showing the form that they showed in the first third of the season. And the other team that's doing well all of a sudden now as the track's drying out, the Renaults, Tino Farah and Herbie are now both 4th and 5th on the timesheets. So yeah, the Mercedes are finally showing the strength that they had at the start of X3, and the Renaults are finally showing the strength that we've known they've had all season long. And as I say that, Herbie invalidates his current lap.
Yeah, but yeah, the Renaults seeming to do pretty good here.
Oh, and Stumpy's gone around coming out of turn 1.
Ooh, that turn 1 is a real, horrible corner.
Yeah, the McLarens are having nothing but trouble adapting to the circuit right now. Even now, as it's starting to dry out, they're still having massive trouble keeping the nose pointed in the proper direction.
Oh, it's
Ooh, it's
Stumpy.
almost went around there entering the S's.
Yeah, that was quite scary. And was just letting Booty by.
Yeah, he'll let Booty
Um,
Smish is coming around now that final corner, and he will begin his flying lap now. We're about 7.5 minutes left in the session. There is no rain falling on the track, but it is still a wet circuit at the moment. So, my question to you, Ozda, is...
it's alright.
At what point, if you're 12th, 13th, 14th on the sheets, at what point do you get rid of the intermediates and throw on softs just for the hope to get into Q3?
I personally, obviously with a track developing like this, I would throw in the dry tires when the spray has stopped. So take Whippy for example. He's got massive spray from the tires. When that spray stops, then I would recommend going on the soft tires. Obviously, because we've had rain, the track's going to be really cold, so it's going to be hard to, you know, keep the dry tires warm. As we have a yellow flag, that's Tone.
Actually, both of the Haas's pulled over, apparently, to let one of the McLarens by. And there we are, our first driver onto the softs.
Yeah, Tina Farah onto the softs now. But yeah, I would personally
He's not out of the pits yet.
Yeah, I'll personally do it when the spray has stopped. But that's just my personal preference, you know, everyone else has different preferences, different driving styles and all that sort of stuff. But it is recommended when the spray stops, that's when you go in the soft tyres or dries.
Find Waldo at the end of Sector 1, 28.492, so that's a purple Sector 1. He's not set a time yet, though, but if he can keep that thing under him, he's en route to a potential good run. And Schold is also going to the soft tire compounds now as well, apparently.
Yeah, so these guys haven't left the pitch just yet, but they're probably just preparing for when it does dry out. But, you know, as I said before, you don't need to go on the softs. Yes, you want a quick time, I get that, but the fact is you need to think about strategy before you think, oh, I want to go quicker than everybody else, I'm going to get pole. It's only Q2. Q2 is about strategy. Q3 is about getting that pole time, you know? So, these guys just, you know, need to... If you can get to Q3 on the intermediates, I would definitely recommend it, 100%.
But I will say this as a counterpoint, though. With Retro Rixie out, and XL Cargo crashing out here, two of our fastest qualifiers aren't even going to make it into Q3. The shootout for the pole position and the top two rows in general are going to be much, much wider open than normal. You honestly could go ahead, try running, and Tino Farah has gone back to the intermediates. You could honestly try and run for
Waldo
against a normal strategy. Good job, Waldo, 146.1. You could try running against what might be your strategy if you think it might give you a 5 to 10 grid position improvement. We could be looking at drivers who don't make it into Q3 very often, making it.
But no wing damage, apparently.
I don't see any
Yeah,
no damage on that car, and
he's
already set a time. Yeah, he's already set a time, so that's the somewhat good news for him, but that had to be a little bit nutty.
Yeah, I think the track is definitely drying out now.
Schold was going to be our test marker. He is going out on the medium tire compounds right now, with a little bit less than 4 minutes left on the clock.
Tina Farah options going to the mediums as well. So I can see a few people now. If you do want to get out on the dry tires, if you want to do that, then you have to do it right now. Like, right now. Because you got 3 minutes. That is a hot lap. And an out lap, hot lap, and in lap. So you still got pretty much a lot of time. I think in Dev, I went out with 2 minutes to go and I still got through. It's not through, still got round. But, ooh, I think, yeah, Waldo had, shoulders hit the wall. So I don't think dry tires are very good right now. Yeah, so if you got on board
you have
with
to give it a try. Schold is already in a position where, like, he's not going to make it into the next Session 8 way. He kind of had to try and do something. Tino Farah is still in the pit lane. Hasn't left the pits yet.
Wait,
oh, no, I say that.
now,
Here comes Tino Farah out now. Tino Farah is in a slightly better position. As long as Tino doesn't total the car, Tino has a time right now that's good enough for qualifying Session 3. Not a whole lot to lose, but at the same time, not a lot to gain either. With 2 minutes 40 seconds on the set and on the clock, I don't think we have time for anyone else to get out there and set a time if they came out of the pits right now, even.
Okay, I just want to say Frank Mulder did 1:44.8. What an amazing time.
On the intermediates.
On
yeah,
the
that's roughly a second and a half faster than Otwi, which is the next closest. Stumpy is in the pits and did not set a single lap time. So this... Oh, Stumpy's jumping onto the sauce. So Stumpy is going to be in an interesting position. If he has to get out onto the circuit as fast as possible, and will have to basically race to get going here. Because there's 1 minute, 58 seconds, 1:57 on the clock. I don't think Stumpy's going to make it. Stumpy needs to be out on the track like right now if he wants to make it to the line in time. And he's still in the pits. Here he is. He's coming out of his box right now, but there's 1 minute and 46 seconds left on the circuit. I don't think he's going to make it around in time to start a lap. I think he's made the best decision, but I think that decision came about 5 seconds too late.
Yeah, I think it did as well. He needs to get run pretty quickly to settle that time. So I wish him luck, but if he doesn't and Whippy's retired, he's right on the edge though. But you know, as we said, if you don't go through to Q3, then you got free tire trace. But also, if you get into Q3, sorry.
has gone off again in guesses now.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit too damp for these guys to set.
For Constant Jet and Whippy, I question their decision to retire now because Herbie is still out on the track setting laps, and he's only about 14,000th off of Whippy's time right now.
Oh no,
you can
he's
pick up 14,000 in 2 seconds.
quicker. So if Herbie doesn't have a big slide, then we could see Whippy out of the session here and won't proceed to Q3. Famodo definitely going to get through, no doubt about that, so he is retired. But Herbie now still a 10th quicker. Whippy's going to be in very bad shape if he gets knocked out here. We're through the front few corners now. Herbie doesn't need to mess it up here. Out of VRS, but coming to the final corner now. What is he going to say? Is he going to knock Whippy out? Oh, goes a bit wide there. He doesn't. He doesn't.
No.
He messed
He
it
loses
up
a
on
bunch
the
of time in the
corner.
last 2 corners. He would have time to make it all the way around, but his ERS is only at 73%, and he had a really, really bad exit from
Is he going to make it?
20.
He's got 2 seconds. He's not going to make it.
He's not going to make it. Time's up. Over. Plow.
So, Whippy is very, very lucky. Very. Like, extremely. So, yeah, Tina Farah,
Herbie,
19
Herbie's
seconds.
on circuit right now, but at the line at the end of Sector 1, he's 5 seconds off, so Herbie's not going to improve. Stumpy doesn't set a lap. Cargo wrecks out. Smish ends up retiring in the session because he realizes he just can't go any faster whatsoever.
Books, he's retired on track. He hit the wall in the S's, but he's still through.
Oh.
That's why, because
Did he retire before or after the time was over?
I'm not too sure, but
because if that car was destroyed after time was up, I think he'll still be allowed in. But if that happened before time was over, he's not going through.
I don't know. We'll have to see, won't we? But yeah, because Whippy's now 9th, not 10th. So yeah.
Yeah. Herbie's the only car left on the track saying time, but again, he's roughly 7 seconds down on time. And for Stumpy, it's absolutely frustrating because I do think Stumpy had the best idea jumping onto the sauce, but he needed to be on the circuit about... If it was just 3 seconds earlier, he would have had enough to set another lap.
Yeah, that was very unlucky for Herbie. Just on the last corner, he got on the curb and it made the car go, I'm gonna drift everywhere. So yeah, very unlucky for Herbie there. But free tire choice, and you're in the back middle pack. Do you get what I mean? So the middle pack, you get the back and the middle pack. That sounded way cooler than what I was expecting. But anyway, so Herbie, he's not in a bad position. He's 11th. you know, off the start, he can maybe score some points.
He'll have to
Maybe.
avoid the first lap, first turn chaos, though.
Oh yeah, like we saw in Dev, that was well, I don't really want to comment
Dev
on it.
wasn't too bad,
It
but
wasn't
Dev also
too
had
bad,
6 fewer
but
cars.
yeah, you know, it's a tight hairpin that is off camber, so you're gonna see some spins. But yeah, it's unlucky for Herbie, but you know, free tire choice and.
No, Books will not advance. Books will not advance to the next
Ooh.
round. So there's only a 9-car shootout. Find Waldo in the Racing Point, Otway in the Alfa Romeo, Tome in the Haas, Snake in the Mercedes, Jackson in the McLaren, Boothie in the other Haas, Tino Farr in the Renault, Constant Jet in the Williams, and Whippy in the Red Bull. Haas is the only team to get both of their cars into Q2.
Yeah.
And then not... also, something else. Nothing against them. Tino Farr normally doesn't perform very well in qualifying, and that in turn knocks on to have a negative effect on his results in race. Tino Farr has made it into Q3, and his teammate Herbie does not. So that's a really, really interesting reversal of fortunes between those two.
Yeah, Tina Farah, great job to get through to Q2. Books, unfortunately, didn't get through. You know, it's going to be quite a good grid for Mercedes in the top 10, but unfortunately, you know, he hit the wall and, you know, his wheel came off. So it's going to be up to Snake now to, you know, do, excuse me, a good job for Mercedes.
Only 9 cars, but again, for Mercedes, this is the kind, even if it's only 1 car, this is the kind of resuscitation for the team for the year that they basically need.
Yeah.
This is gonna get really crazy, and the track is dry. I want to make that very clear. Also,
Dry.
the track is cold but dry.
And everyone's on dry tires, so the track's going to be really cold, so I wouldn't expect some fast times until later on in the session. But track's dry, no wet, gooey, horrible, slidiness. So yeah, we could see some decent times here. Whitney, he's eager to get out, and so Tina Farr. So Tina Farr going to be first car to set a lap time here in the USA, and he's validated already. But he's telling these out laps, it's alright. So it's Whitney as well. So yeah, later we're gonna, you know, I think this track, same with Russia and Japan's gonna come down to penalties, I think.
That's what it turned out to be in the Dev League. Outside, the fight for second was really, really weird because second place just kept racking up penalty after penalty, trying to keep up with the leader, and in turn, almost lost that position to the drivers behind. So, yeah, I do agree. Penalties will probably have a massive, massive impact here. Also, DRS is enabled back again, so we'll actually see real flying lap times as well. That will be nice. Don't get me wrong, I like seeing the wet weather qualifying. I think that's absolutely amazing. But seeing the cars go at their actual limit that they're designed to do is just as fun.
Yeah, definitely. I honestly can't wait because obviously, you know, Dev was dry, basically very good conditions in Dev actually. So I wonder what the times are differs compared to really good sunny, nice hot track to a damp-ish and cold track. So it's going to be good to see what the time differences are.
Yellow flag in Sector 3 as Tome slows it down and then gets back on the power full bore to start his first flying lap. Oh, and Tino Farrell's gone off in the S's.
Yeah, he's welding as well, so he's got to move out of the way for Snake.
Move out of the way for Careless Jackson as well.
So, actually, the first car, Whippy.
Constant Jet is still in the pits.
He's probably waiting for a hotter track. Or he just maybe wants to set a time at a later date, a later time. So, I don't know, maybe he just wants to sit in the pits. Oh no, he's coming out now. I was gonna say sit in the pits, have a brew, have a cup of tea, do what he wants to do. But he's Welsh, so you know, I don't think he likes tea.
I mean, I'm American, and our stereotype is coffee and energy drinks, but I drink tea all the time, so.
Jeez.
Coming out of the final corner, here comes Whippy. He will be the first driver to set a time, 132.923 at the line. And he immediately gets topped by Snake, 132.525.
Yeah, these are actually pretty good times for a track like this. It's not optimal like Dev was, and I couldn't even get past the 132s. I got 132 flat, so only 5/10 off of a very cold track. So that's pretty decent for these guys here. And I think maybe at the end of the session, because these are more drivers doing, you know, second runs. Yeah. Next car to be set at that time, I think is...
Will be Whippy again.
Whippy, if he's on another lap, which he isn't, he's got 0 ERS. But it's gonna be... Movie?
Tino Farah?
No, Careless.
Jackson?
Careless, yeah.
Yeah. Tino Farah is just a bit behind Careless Jackson right now, though. So both of them will set times at approximately the same point. Only 7 minutes left in the session. And these are 12-minute long sessions. There's only 7 minutes left, and only 2 drivers have set times thus far, simply because they've invalidated so many of their laps by virtue of track violations. So, we had issues in session 2 with a driver not making it in due to not being able to set a time. I'm not saying it will happen, but I'm saying it could happen again today. Someone might not be able to set a time in Q3. Just due to invalidating laps.
Yeah, that could definitely be the case. Careless Jackson, Tino
Farah to the top.
That's
132.506.
That's good for Renault. But Waldo. Wow.
There's the times you'd be expecting.
No way.
130.878.
Am I seeing that right? Am I?
No, you're definitely seeing it right.
Am I
That's
blind?
way faster than they went down. No. Well, I don't know, Ozda. Do me a favor, to answer your blindness question, go watch Spaceballs, the movie, and after the long Texas stream pops up, there's going to be a little message that will pop up as well. If you can read that, you don't need glasses, so that's how you're going to want to test that.
But Waldo, that, I think, XRL Ultimate, who's in X1, did a 129. That is...
So we're still off of X1's time, but...
I mean, for X3,
this is still way
very
faster.
quick.
Yeah, that's honestly more of an X2 kind of time. So,
yeah.
Tome is now coming out of the pits, as is Constant Jet, who has just come into the pits. So, Tome is going to go out there and start saying a flying lap. 7 drivers have set their time, and the spread is really, really large. Almost 3 seconds worth of difference between 1st and 7th right now. Careless Jackson coming into the pits. He's going to abandon his current attempt. He had plenty of ERS, but actual fuel, he didn't have much left of it. Boothie, I imagine, will be the next driver to set a lap. Now, actually, Boothie's way off pace. He's not going to be the next one to set a lap. It will actually be Atwi, I think. Atwi seems to be a bit off pace as well. Boothie's saving up. He's going to have full ERS here. Yeah, he's 6.5 seconds down on time at the line. Atwi's pitting, but Boothie right now looks to be one of the next drivers who will set a time. Constant Jet's on an outlap, so although he's on track, he'll pay a little bit of time. Snake also is on an outlap as well, so right now the focus is going to be on what Boothie can do. This is also his 3rd lap on soft. So, real quick, Ozda, I was watching the race yesterday, obviously.
Yeah.
You were flying all day long on the softs, and the moment you went to mediums, your pace evaporated. What is the difference between soft and medium tire compounds here for those of us who aren't on the racetrack?
I mean, I wouldn't say my pace evaporated. So basically what happened was, right, I started on the sauce, yeah, and the game, because I started on the sauce, said you're doing a 2-stop, and I was like, no, I want to do a 1-stop. So I was meant to pit lap 8, but I extended to lap 13. And I was going to go in the mediums, everything was going fine, you know, I was going to get some decent points, and then boom, puts me on softs. I forgot to change the tyre compound. So I had to do a 2-stop, and obviously then I got further back, and then everyone else who was on, started on the mediums were on softs. And one thing to say is that fresh softs around here are so quick. So quick. Like, I'm not joking, it'll make you at least a second to half a second quicker, depending your skill level. So yeah, you know, fresh softs around here are absolutely like insanely quick. It's like you got hyperspeed in your car and you press boop, and it goes meow. So yeah, and that's why I lost so much pace, because everyone was on fresh softs and I was on mediums, and you know, the mediums feel really good around here, but they're not very quick. And the hards, for me personally, felt horrible. Unless you have lap 1 damage, that's the only time you want to go on the hards.
Well, we saw drivers who got lap 1 damage in Dev yesterday jump onto the hards, run hards for all but like 3 laps of the race, and still pull out with points. Again, it was a anemic field, but still, there is a viable strategy option in that if you are in a race with no yellow flags.
Yeah, that was what's it, Curtis Jackson yesterday in the Racing Point?
I believe it was, yeah.
Yeah, and you know, he jumped a place on me because he had no penalties. So if you can do that today, that would be very good, because I'm not saying Dev is worse than X3. I'm saying that X3 is more aggressive. So people are prone more likely to get penalties here, because obviously, you know, X3 is a quicker division. And I think that's Whippy. Oh no, yeah, Whippy's right behind Tome. No.
Constant Jet has now set a time of 132.262. Tome is in a very difficult scenario. There's only a minute left on the session. I think he'll make it to the line, but he's going to be really close, and Tome will only have 1 flying lap to set a time, so...
Yeah, Whippy's behind him as well. These two shouldn't really be that close together. But I think Whippy's just using his toe to get round that outlap, and then he's going to back off in sector 3.
Yeah, he'll probably...
Yeah. So yeah, and if you didn't know, and if you knew, and if you watched the stream and you didn't know, Extra Whippy was our head admin, but he had to step down because of school. And now our new head admin is Jono, Extra Jono, who's currently competing in the 24 Hours of Daytona. So
the iRacing 24 Hours of Daytona, not the real life 24 Hours of Daytona.
No, we wish.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the iRacing. You know what? Extra Otoma and Whippy are very close together.
Snake has set a lap time of 132.190, so Mercedes' redemption arc is really going on here. Waldo has set a time of 130.681. That is going to be his best time, period. He will not have another shot. Constant Jet is coming into the pits, so he is not going to attempt to improve on his lap. So it's going to be Boothie will be the next across the line.
And Constant Jet retired in the pits.
Yeah, Constant Jet retired in the pits, yeah.
Actually was 4/10 down on his time, but now he's 2/10
Boothie up to 5 laps, and Boothie said his fastest lap on the 5th lap on those softs, 131.834.
I mean, if it was 3 laps, I'll say the third 3 is a charm. Well, I guess I could say 5 is a charm now, because that's a pretty good lap time from Boothie there.
Well, the track's also finally warm. The sun's been on for about a minute or so.
Yeah.
This is ideal time to set laps. Carlos Jackson, as well, has just improved 131.945, so...
Gino Farrow can run the final corner now. What is he going to set? Stay the same. Whippy, he's going to improve. He's 1/10 up on his time, but that won't gain him any positions as of now. What is he going do? Is he gonna jump? He isn't. He's gonna stay in ninth, unfortunately.
Tome sets a lap at the last possible minute and goes up to 131.671, so Haas locks out the second row, but no one could touch Otwi or find Waldo here. The two of them are basically in a zip code of their own. And it's really interesting. It's basically the real-life modern-day equivalent of watching Valtteri Bottas and,
Lewis
well,
Hamilton.
I would say Sebastian Vettel going out while Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton are stuck in the back. Actually, no, Vettel's gone now, so I guess it would be a better comparison to say we're basically watching Valtteri Bottas and Carlos Sainz up in front while Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc end up in the back. So,
Yeah, these two guys are very quick. I wouldn't be surprised if either Atui or Famodo are teammates next season, or if they even go up to X2. They definitely have the pace for it. Tone, really good drive here today in Q3. If you can turn that into a podium, I'll be very impressed with him here today. And if you can bring Haas some points, obviously, we haven't had... Who was the other Haas driver? I forgot his name. Who was
Boothie,
it?
he's right there.
No.
Below
The other
Tone.
one. The other one. No, the one that used to be full-time.
Hubert?
Yeah,
WCD
Hubert. Yeah, we haven't seen him for a while, and he's actually... I think he's got his seat taken off him. Because he hasn't raced for quite a bit. So, yeah. So, if Tom can bring Haas some points, that'll be a little bit of a... something to keep Boovy going, keep Boovy to push. But obviously, Boovy is pretty quick. But obviously, we have fucking... Ooh, that just slipped out. That wasn't my fault.
I've had a few of those also. Don't worry too much about it.
We have Cargo and also Retrorixie. They didn't get through even to Q3. So this is going to be a very interesting race, I would say, because we have two very quick drivers near the back of the field, so we could see a massive charge from them here in today's USA Grand Prix.
Well, for those of you who are watching here in the broadcast booth, we're going to go silent for a brief moment of honor. We're here to honor Sergeant Christopher McConnell, who has unfortunately passed away. He served with the A2nd Airborne Corps and the 10th Mountain Division in 5 different combat tours of duty, 3 of them to Afghanistan and 2 of them in Iraq. He was awarded the Purple Heart and Bronze Star with a V device and has 5 different Army Commendation medals. So, very storied life story from somebody who went and laid it all out on the line for countrymen and for the ideals of freedom around the world. And we're going to take a minute in silence to pay him some respects before we get underway here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so we are still here at Circuit of the Americas, waiting for time to count down before we get into the race itself here. When it comes to the points standings, manufacturers' points, Alfa Romeo are still sailing ahead, but things aren't looking as easy now. Find Waldo has really picked up his pace, and it's allowing the racing point to stay within contention. Alfa Romeo has 334 manufacturers' points, while the racing point has 310. Mercedes is pretty much locked out of manufacturers championship contention, but if some bad luck befalls Racing Point, they may be able to overtake them. Mercedes has 267 points. The McLaren F1 team has 186, while the Aston Martin team has 143. Scuderia AlphaTauri Honda has 121 points, while Williams has 110. Haas has 92 points. Renault has 82, and Ferrari has 67. It's been an absolutely horrible season with just a few moments of great bright spots for the Ferrari team. When it comes to the Drivers' Championship, Herbie still has yet to earn points this season. Tino Farah has a single point, although Tino, with having a good qualifying run today, might be able to turn that around. Boothie and Gusty and the Haas's are tied with 2 points each, while Stumpy has 4 points. Fratters in the AlphaTauri has 6 points, and Constant Jet has 10 points. 14th on the sheet is XRL Steel. He has 13 points in the Red Bull, while XXX has 19, which brings him into a tie with XRL Turbo. The other Ferrari, XRL Smish, has 34 points, most of them coming from his win at Monza in front of the Tifosi. Schold has 41 points in the Williams. There are 57 points for the Red Bull of XRL Whippy, 58 points for the AlphaTauri of XRL Fritz, so a very close championship points battle there. Careless Jackson has 79 points. He's 6th on the timesheets. Then you have Atwi, who is 5th with 92 points, 5 points away from Find Waldo, who is going to be your pole sitter today. XRL Snake is 3rd. He has 99 points. And then in the points battle itself, it is a dead tie between Cargo and Retro as we're preparing to get the race going here. As lights out, and away we go here at Circuit of the Americas, and already a bunch of chaos in the back, and that Stumpy was absolutely destroyed in the back of the field. Cargo is damaged as well. Schold is still backwards on the circuit. A mandatory safety car at the very start right away, and I would not be surprised if we see... I think we're going to be looking at a potential... Oh, wow. This is... yeah, there was an instant right there before they got to the start-finish line, and then I didn't see the second one, but there was another instant going into turn 1. We've already lost 5 drivers. I would not be surprised if they decide...
We're having a restart.
Yeah, it's going to be a race restart. 2 massive instants right at the start. We only saw the first one, sadly, before they got across the line. We didn't get to see what happened going into turn 1. But a massive, massive pileup here at the start of Circuit of the Americas will necessitate a race restart as we lose a quarter of the field before we even get down to turn 2, before we even exit turn 1, honestly.
That was crazy. I didn't see it because when I commentate to keep me calm, I play music and my music turned off, so I had to go to Spotify, and I didn't even see what happened, so that was not very good. I only saw the aftermath of it and loads of cars dead, so yeah, we're gonna get a lobby up pretty soon, guys, so don't you worry, we'll be back commentating pretty soon. But yeah, we're just waiting for another lobby. And that was very unfortunate.
Yeah, ignore those celebrations right now. All those celebrations are some weird, bizarre, alternate universe that doesn't have any relation to our own. Nutty. So as I was saying, our 2 championship points contenders, there's a tie at the top of the points, and neither of them are starting any better than 14th. So, yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. We've had big wrecks at the start before. Monaco, we had a massive pileup right at the start. And same with Sochi, we had 2 massive pileups at the start. But there was no decision to restart those races. I wonder why we're restarting here, though. I'm not questioning it, saying, oh, we should have kept going. I'm not saying that. I personally do not know the reasons why some races we get a restart after a lap 1, turn 1 instant, and some races we don't. That's the... I personally am just saying I do not know why we're doing it. But I personally am glad we're doing it, because I'd like to see an actual full field of 20 cars dive into turn 1.
Right, so 17 drivers now. 16, should I say? Sorry. You want to invite Insane? Or
Yeah, I'll take an invite, please.
here you go. That was crazy.
Checking privileges. Do I look like a... Okay, I'm not... Alright, here we are. We're still missing a few drivers right now. Snake and Book still representing the Mercedes team. Smish and Turbo still representing Ferrari. Whippy and Steel representing Red Bull. Carlos Stacks and Stumpy in the McLarens. Tino Farah and Herbie in the Renault. In the AlphaTauri Honda, it's Fratters and Fritz. Racing Point, Retro Ixie, and Find Waldo. Waldo starting on the pole. Alfa Romeo, it's Atui and not Kimi Raikkonen. The actual other Alfa Romeo driver will show up shortly. For Williams, it's Schold and Constant Jet. And then for the Haas team, you'll have Tome and Boothie. We're waiting on Boothie to show up still, so... Alright, stand by, waiting for our last 2 drivers to jump back into the lobby here. And imagine they'll show up shortly. We're still waiting on Boothie. But Cargo has shown up at least, so...
Okay, BB's in now, so we should be going pretty soon here. Wow, hectic.
So, there's talk that there may be a grid penalty for everyone who readied up early, because there's apparently some miscommunication regarding the moment of silence that was going to be observed both in the booth and on the racetrack. So, some drivers apparently were not aware that was going to be a thing, so there may be grid penalties handed out. No verification that will happen or not, but just saying there is talk of that going on right now in the X3 lounge in the Discord server. So yeah. From what I could see and from what I've read, Books did not get going right at the start. Everyone else did, and drivers were swerving to avoid Books' machine, ended up colliding and crashing into each other in the process at the start-finish line. Going up into the turn 1, though, I did not see anything that happened there whatsoever. So
Yeah, I didn't either. So no idea what happened. I think the stewards are gonna be pretty busy, maybe.
yeah. Mazda, real quick, just gonna ask you a favor. When we do get underway for the race,
Yeah.
I'm gonna try and keep focus on like the top 3 or 4 positions. If you can keep a focus on Retro, who's in the back of the field, that'd be great. So if something happens in the back, you can immediately call it out, shout it out over me. I'm gonna be trying to keep track of what's going on in the front, and hopefully that gives us enough of a spread that we know what's going on across the board.
Yeah, no worries, man. I'll. You can keep you can keep the eye on the top 10, and I'll do the
Yeah.
bottom half if you want.
Yeah, something like that will work.
Yeah, no worries, man.
The only reason I really specified Retro is because him and the Alpha Driver Cargo are
Yeah.
your 2 championship contenders. So, yeah. I will ask this real quickly. I know you've not been with us for the entire season, but I've really not either. I've missed the first 2 races this year. But in your opinion, once the season is over, do you think there's any races we've had this far in X3 that you'll go back and rewatch?
Oh, that's a good one. That is a good one.
If you say no that you're not interested whatsoever, I'm fine with that also. You don't have to force a false answer.
I think I would watch either Italy or Singapore, just because 2 drivers that we never expect to win did win the race. So obviously Whippy and Smish. But I can't, because we've done so many races together. I don't really remember like a good race. Like I remember the races, but I don't. If you get what I mean. I remember commentating with them, but I don't remember what actually happened. So I'll have to like go back and look and see. But from memory, probably Italy or Singapore.
I agree on Italy and Singapore. I also would go ahead and list Silverstone, where we had a 4-car battle for the win the entire race long. And it was pretty much a clean green race despite that. So definitely I would be considering Silverstone. Azerbaijan, which was the race right before a lot of X3 drivers ended up graduating into other leagues. So we saw a slightly different field build. It was also just a very chaotic race with stuff happening constantly that entire event. So Azerbaijan, without a doubt, I would consider going back and watching again.
Yeah.
Zandvoort was a fantastic race. Both, I gotta cover X2 and X3, and I would go out of my way to watch both of those races again. I also would go ahead and say Montreal had a good 3-way battle throughout, and a lot of interesting things was set up. So those would be some of the ones. And then, like you said, Italy, Monza, and then Singapore, both were very, very fantastic races that would be worth checking out again.
Yeah, obviously, when I did get banned, if you're new here and you didn't know, I'm not very proud of it, but I got banned for conduct in chat. For half, well, it was meant to be a full season, and then it got reduced to half a season. But you know, obviously, when I was banned, I didn't play F1. I didn't look at the streams. I didn't do anything to do with F1, because when I did do F1, I'll become agitated that I did what I did, and I'll get really angry because, you know, especially on like Saturdays and Sundays, because I'll be like, oh my god, I'll be doing this at that time or doing this at that time. And so yeah, when I was banned, I'd have to go and look back and see all the races and see which is probably one of my favorites when I was banned. But when I wasn't banned, probably Singapore and Italy would probably be my best bet for what race I'll go and rewatch after the season ends. I don't think I did Singapore, but I just heard about it because Whippy, obviously, he won. Me and him are best friends, so he's bragging on about it all the time. Oh no, wait, Whippy, I thought, Whippy did win X3 Singapore, didn't he? Was that
Yeah,
Jono?
yes, he did.
Yeah,
No, it was Whippy.
yeah, because I remember Jono, he won Dev Singapore and also PC to Singapore. Um, so yeah, so I'll go and see Singapore and Italy. Obviously Smishy pulled a massive, like, amazement factor out the bag in Italy, because, you know, I wouldn't say he's the quickest, but I wouldn't say he's the slowest. So for him to win a race, that's a big boost. That he knows he can, you know, he has the pace and stuff. So that was quite a good feeling for him. So yeah, that's my reasons why I go and rewatch those races.
Yeah, and then like I said, I agree with both of those events. Both of those were very interesting in their own rights. And like I said, Silverstone, you had a 4-car battle for the win pretty much all race long. You had Montreal, which you had a 3-car battle for the win, and a lot of interesting developments when it comes to drivers who had good quality setups falling through the field, drivers who had good race setups raising up to the field. Another one that I would point to, like I said, Azerbaijani, which was very, very interesting, very chaotic. I think we only had like 9 or 10 drivers finish that race. And then also Zandvoort was extremely, extremely noteworthy as well. So.
Yeah, I'll have to go and rewatch them to see if I do like them or not. But yeah, I can't wait for next season. Honestly, I don't think you'll be commentating next season, will you?
No. Next season is still going to be on F1 2020, and so I'm going to be sticking around.
Oh
for
yeah,
that.
and then the season after that.
But it's a short, it's a shortened season though. It's only going to be 15 races, and the calendar is going to be in a randomized order, from my understanding. So I don't know which tracks are coming over and which ones are not. I think Monaco was one that's not brought over.
Yeah,
which
Monaco,
I think is an absolute
Japan.
travesty. Yeah, basically my two of my favorite circuits, Monaco and Japan, didn't make it over, and I think that's an absolute travesty myself. But
all right, so hopefully this time it's cleaner. But we're going here again. So hopefully everybody readies up. So here we go. Hopefully everyone gets off clean. No DNFs, please, boys. We don't really want that. Even before we go to turn 1. Here we go. So
yeah,
1 light.
Because we only have one shot at a restart.
4,
so
yeah, 5 lights. And away we go.
Lights out, and away we go here once again. The Mercedes at the front do not get moving whatsoever, but Fine Waldo is sailing out. Here comes one of the Haas ones to make a dive for it. They're going to be 3 wide, side by side for a second.
Everybody gets through, please. Everybody gets through, please. No, there is a bit of wing damage on some of the cars, but no spins or anything like that. Going into the S's now, he's going to go too wide. I think that is like one of the...
Oh, that's someone who's gone off. That's Steele. Steele has gone around there in the back of the field.
That is not good for Steele, but the pack is still very bunched up, so he could probably just get... Oh, I'm surprised at all these guys. So too wide. There's Snake trying to get past Shold. No, sorry, Cargo. And also Cargo's at the back. Retrofit's up to 10th place now. So I'm just going to quickly get my position changes. Retro Rixie's up 6 places. Wow. Just on lap 1.
Whippy and Tino Farah have maintained their current starting, very close to their current starting position, but Whippy now has championship contender of Retro right behind them. So that's going to be a bit of a fight. Careless Jackson is in a little bit of a battle there with the Mercedes. That's Books on the outside. Books had a slow start, but he's making up for it already. He's up into the 6th. Whoa! That car slides out from him. He nearly takes out Careless Jackson in the 16, 17, 18 complex. Here comes Tino Farah. He wants a piece of this. It's now. The Mercedes gets pushed really wide, loses the position, but Tino Farah, now he's going to go for a heavy dive under braking, but he's continuing to lose position. It's not going well for Books, but he's got the power down coming out of that final corner. Down the run, Tino Farah's going to have to fall back in line. Books is running that Mercedes on a knife's edge today.
And it looks like practice is actually lagging a bit, so he may be asked to leave throughout this race, retire and leave. But Cargo now up 2 places. Snake fallen on about 9 places. He needs to really think about getting tyre strategy. As Stumpy and Cargo, they're going side by side. Stumpy, on the inside. Is he going to make it stick? They're going too wide through the hill.
Big contact. Here comes Mercedes.
Snake as well. He's going to try. 3 wide. No, Snake knocks out. And Stumpy gets that position back. So he's making Cargo work. But we've got to remember, Stumpy is on these soft tyres. This is gonna, and Snake, he may be coming in the pack too, and Stumpy's got really short straight line speed. Snake now, he's gonna make a move into this. No, he's not, he's gonna back out. But Cargo now, up past Stumpy, and that is great news. Oh no, and Snake, Stumpy's little mistake nearly made Snake have an opportunity to get past him. Snake gonna go on the inside, nearly them two take each other out, and now Turbo's in the fight as well, so we're not even in point same positions, but it's a 4-car battle already on lap 2.
That Mercedes was really wide there in turn 19 and has to surrender the spot to Turbo, so move Snake down to the 16th spot. Congratulations to everyone though. We are in a position where we have a 4-car battle still for points main positions. Whippy, Scholl, Retro, and I believe Books all right on top of each other. That's not Books, I'm sorry, that's Herbie.
Wow,
all these are for some points main positions right now.
And we also have one up the field as well. We have Tom, Constant, and Curlis. And we have one as well, Moving actually. And, well, Fan Model's just gone. He's like, bye, have a great time, have a nice holiday. Meet you when I get.
Oh, Books, Whippy and Scholl all got into each other. Nose to tail, and they're making damage on all of their cars.
No, Whippy doesn't have damage. Scholl has damage. He's lost their end plate. And now Herbie, he's behind Retro Rixie. He's going to want to hold Retro Rixie up for Cargo. For Cargo now, he is near. Cargo's
losing the position of Stumpy.
Stumpy.
DRS has been enabled, so everything's really going to get crazy now.
Yeah, I'm only on lap 3 and there's a 28 lap race, guy. So this is crazy. Snake needs and free to the car penalty. Let's get AlphaTauri's down at the bottom, not doing very well. Snake really needs to, get those positions back.
And Herbie spins himself out coming out of turn 15. He got the power back down. He's facing the right way again, but he's dropped behind Stumpy, and now he's going to be the one holding up Cargo.
Yeah,
and the reason we're focusing on Cargo and Retro, there's a tie at the top of the Drivers' Points Championship, and those two drivers...
Who is that? Oh, nobody. Cargo and
Books has damage. Cargo and Books got into it, and Books has major damage on the front wing, as does Cargo.
Yeah, that is very unfortunate. And Cargo actually doesn't have damage. He does. Oh yeah, he does. Sorry, my bad. But he's pitting for another mediums. That is interesting. I thought he'd go to the hards. But anyway, now Snake is now down 7 places instead of 10. And now Retro Rixie now. Cargo out the equation. Retro Rixie needs to gain those places to make Cargo not even a threat to him anymore. He's in 1 point pin position, but we're only on lap 4. Anything can change. We haven't seen to go yet. Obviously, Retro Rixie, he's on the soft tyre compound. They're gonna run out quicker than anybody else's. But the fact is that obviously the softs are quicker. And yeah, so. I think our biggest winner here is Retro Rixie with 6 places.
Well, as of now, there's another battle that's basically on the constant threat of activating. Constant Jet is 5th, and he's got Careless Jackson and Tino Faro. Tino Faro's dropped off the back bit, but Tome is ahead of Constant Jet and Careless Jackson. And those 3 drivers are all in a position that if they are this close on the back straightaway, they will have DRS, and they may be able to train by Tome in the DRS straight. They've all got DRS on each other now going down the front straightaway, but due to how short the front straight is, we don't anticipate it will be as big of a thing right here. It's more of the back straight that we're looking for. Constant Jet looks to the inside of Tome coming out to
Constant Jet,
really
what an exit. I'm sorry to cut you off, but what an exit he's had. He's gained lots of time on Tome. Either Tome had it. Oh, a yellow flag. Sector 1, and that is Retro Rixie.
Oh!
He's He's got
Now,
no
is there damage on that car? There is. Yes, he's got significant wing damage.
Yeah.
And he had just gotten into the points paying positions also, and now he's knocked back out, and he's going to have to pit as well.
This could bring Cargo into play. Cargo is 27 seconds behind R18, but with that wing damage, R18 will lose about 10 seconds. With the pit stop and the wing change, that is another 20 seconds. So Cargo could get past R18, and now R18 is going to be trying to get past Cargo at the later stage of the race. This is crazy.
But also of note, Retro has the option to jump onto the hard tire compounds and just cruise on the hards for the rest of the day and potentially inherit a bunch of positions later on. Cargo is not in that position. Cargo jumped onto the mediums, and he's anticipated to make at least one more pit stop today. So Retro could go ahead and make up for the time he's losing right now by jumping onto the hards and not pitting again in the race.
Yeah, that is... I don't know whether he had contact with anybody or whether he did it himself. But that is going to bring Cargo. That is going to make Cargo smile massively. He's going to have
someone else who's smiling right now is Careless Jackson. He's going to the inside dive on Constant Jet going into turn number 1.
What an amazing dive from Careless Jackson there. But yeah, as I was saying, Cargo, he's going to have a grin bigger than his face right now, as he knows that R18 won't even be a threat to him right now. 12 seconds between these two guys, and he has to pit with a front wing change as well, and this pit lane is quite short but quite long as well. It's in between, so yeah,
it's short in length, but because the pit lane runs directly parallel with one of the two main straights on the track, it artificially means that you lose significantly more time here than in regards to the track than you would at a lot of other pit stops. Boothie has caught R18, and we may have a battle for the podium spots right now. Boothie is looking to the outside. He's got the Haas ahead. Two Ferrari-powered engine cars going neck and neck coming out of the back straightaway and move Boothie. Congratulations to Boothie there.
You know, as we know, Boothie hasn't had the best of races recently, but if he does get a podium here, that would be a massive boost for Haas team, and also it'll gain them a lot of points with Tom in 4th.
Okay, so here's something else to take note of right now. Snake is just a little bit behind Stumpy, who's about a second behind Scholl, so those three are the next battle that could potentially activate at the drop of the hat once they get onto a straight, or if any of them make a mistake right now.
Yeah, we also have a battle of obviously Constant, Careless, and Tome. Obviously, Careless Jackson got past Constant Jet, but you know, we haven't seen Tome. Tome has had a really good race. He's on the mediums. He wants to hold Careless up to destroy his mediums even more, and also Constant is on the mediums as well. So basically, everybody is on the mediums except for Boothie. So that will really bring strategy to play when Boothie has to pit, and basically the medium brothers can just fly past and pick a later date and really faster tyres.
R18 is falling off to more than a second off of Boothie, so he will not be able to directly challenge Boothie back for that second position now. Boothie was putting down faster laps with more softs in qualifying, but eventually those softs will get away, and R18 will come back to him. Of note, though, the gap between Whippy and Scholl is about 2.5 seconds right now, and we're anticipating that gap will only widen as we go longer and longer without those drivers making their pit stops.
Yeah, you know, I think these softs will be going off right about now.
Snake back into the points paying positions.
Yeah, Snake, he's on a recovery drive, a bit like me and Monza on the 2018 game. Gonna have Stumpy on his gearbox, so faster tyre compound. Ooh, what an amazing defending from Snake there. But yeah, the soft runners are going to be hurting round about now, I'd say.
Also of note, this is kind of an interesting thing, and we are still relatively early in the race. There's only one person with a time penalty right now in the top 10. Everyone else who has time penalties are outside of the top 10 at the moment.
Yeah, it's Constant Jack, but he also has 6 seconds. Only into lap 8. You get...
Stumpy with that dive! He just came out of nowhere!
Yeah, and didn't really make it stick. Actually, it was made it worse, really. Looking a lot of time to Snake now. But yeah, 6 seconds on lap 8. You got 20 laps to go. You need to keep the time penalties down, as we saw in Dev with me as an example. Killer Jackson, no penalties, jumped up to P5, and I was going to be a P5. If didn't have penalties, I would have been P5. But as you know, I had 6-second penalties. Hurt me really badly. So if you can have no penalties throughout the entire race, you'll be guaranteed to at least jump one place, I would say. Obviously if you're not first.
All right, Herbie comes right up to the rear gearbox of Stumpy. So Stumpy's mistake in turn 1 has had a knock-on effect and has brought the Renault, number 53 Renault of Herbie, up to his rear bumper, or rear wing, I should say, right now. A little bit of a gap forms in these slower corners, but they'll be right on top of each other when they get to the start-finish line straight again. And now Constant Jet has another 3-second time penalty. He's 6th on the track, but with 9 seconds worth of penalties, he may as well be 8th. You see the game there seems to think that if you're going to run a 2-stop soft tire focused strategy, the best time to jump in for the softs would be now. So I'll be curious to see what the decisions are. Right now, Atui, we think by now the softs would be gone, but Atui has not closed in on Boothie whatsoever. Now, of note, though, Boothie hasn't closed in on race leader Fine Waldo. Waldo is flying out the gate right now. He's basically making this race a repeat of what Suzuka was in many ways.
I mean, what an amazing race he's having already. You know, this guy is very quick. So, I don't see why he couldn't go to X2. He's winning by 5 seconds and it's lap 9. Obviously, you know, he's still got, what, like, 19 laps to go? Is that right? No.
Yeah, we're looking at 19 laps to go, basically. Yeah. Snake has just gotten by Schold, so the Mercedes redemption arc is well underway here right now. Herbie and Stumpy neck and neck and move Herbie up to 11th. So Stumpy is trying to fight back, but his chance of earning points are starting to fade just a bit, with Herbie having a nice little charge right now. Of note, both of those cars are on soft tire compounds right now. Schold ahead of them is also on softs, while Snake is on mediums. And again, we can expect the soft tire compounds to basically start dying right about now.
I really don't know how Herbie hasn't spun out yet. He used an overtake through the corner. I think he's forgot to turn it off and showed he jumped into the pits to go on the medium tyres or even the hards, I would suspect. So we could see a few soft runners in the next couple of laps go onto the mediums, because you have to extend to about 13 to 12 laps to get the mediums to the end if you're on soft. So we could see a few guys pit in the coming laps. But, you know, as I said before, Fine Modo he's gone. You know, he's like, he's gone. He's gone to another country. And who is that? That is Fritz.
Atui is closing back in on Boothie.
Yeah,
the softs have definitely worn out, because here comes Atui. He's looked to make a move on Boothie at the end of the straight, was not able to make it happen, though he's backed off for now. But we can definitely say that Atui has picked up the pace and is now faster than Boothie once more.
Yeah, Atui nearly spins there. But yeah, Boothie, the softs, I just saw his rear step out then. The softs are going to be at like 50 to 40% round about now. So you'll probably pit in the next couple of laps. But for now, you want to keep Atui behind to destroy his tyres in the dirty air. As we go to the DRS straight, Atui quite close. Is he going to make a move to turn 1? He is.
He's thinking of it. Yeah, he's going on the outside.
And Boothie,
Boothie couldn't hold the line.
And Atui gets past the feed. Atui now in second place.
Careless Jackson has pretty much caught Tome ahead of him, and this will be a battle for 4th and 5th on the timesheets. On the scoreboard, I should say, not the timesheets.
So we have another time penalty actually in the top 10. Tina Farr with a 3-second time penalty, and Mills has something he's in 10th with 6 seconds. The most penalties right now is Fradders in 18th place with a 12-second time penalty. You know, it's lap 11. that's not really looking good. 21 seconds, you get a wish relegation, so it's not very looking very good for Fradders here today in USA. But Kirby now, he's on the back of Stumpy, losing a bit of time here, but we could see an overtake on the back straight. The other big battle, as you said, is Killer Jackson and Tone, but they're not making any moves just yet.
Yeah, the field's starting to spread out just a little bit, but there is something to note that Scholl is about 7/10 off the back of Smish, so he may have a chance to make a move with DRS assist on that Ferrari down the back straightaway here. Scholl is the only driver, well, him and Retro are the only drivers outside the top 9 who do not have time penalties right now, and Mookie has gone ahead and made his stop.
Yeah, so Boothie is now in the pits here. To put on the medium tire compound, and Sherwood is really on the back of Smith now, so we can see a Soccerini of faces in the coming laps. But yeah, Stumpy now in the pits, Herbie now in the pits, Turbo now in the pits, Steel, he's going to stay a little bit longer. Bucks, he's been on the side 6 laps, so I don't think he really needs to pit. Fritz, he's been on 8 laps, so he doesn't really need to pit either. But yeah, this is where strategy comes into play massively.
And for one of our points leaders, Cargo will gain a few positions here by virtue of staying out on the track a little bit longer. He's on mediums, and you can now move him up into 12th on the timesheets. But his mediums have some wear on it, while Stumpy, Herbie, and all behind him all have nowhere. And then the interesting one, Retro obviously is going to be interested in his own right, but Smish is going to be interested as well. Smish is on the hards, and he's been on the hards almost since the start of this race. And I think it's really reasonable to assume that Smish and Retro will be on similar strategies to the end. When Smish goes ahead and either gets rid of the hards or starts losing time massively, we can expect the same knock-on effect for Retro within about 3 laps afterwards. Smish, though, is in the middle of battles. He actually has to actively fight for his spots on the track. So it's going to be a little bit interesting to see how Smish's race falls, because how Smish's race go will affect how Retro's race go. So I guarantee you that Cargo and Retro will
yellow
be
sector 2,
a lot of focus on.
I think that is free. It is. And Turbo
Fradders just got by Turbo.
Yeah.
Also, Careless Jackson, he is roughly a second still off the back of Tome. And if he can close in the S's, it would be really good. Also, note Tino Farah is about the same gap from Constant Jet right now. Oh, and now Tino Farah gets a time second penalty. Never mind.
Yes.
Oh, side by side, Cargo and Stumpy neck and neck going down the straight, and they both have DRS on each other. No, actually, I'm wrong. Cargo's the only one with DRS. Stumpy does not have DRS, so now move Cargo up into 11th.
Oh, now Herbie's going to look at it as well. Oh, Herbie just backs out there. But now Stumpy's really in a bad position here. He's going to have dirty air Cargo. That is not going to be good on his tyres. It's going to make him even more wear. And Herbie, he's in the same position as well. Showed not so much. He's got rubbered in tyres. He's been in clean air for a bit, but now he's going to run into some dirty air. That's going to be way different. And Smish now, he's catching up the field.
Herbie is right all over Stumpy's rear end. He might go for a dive going into the hairpin. Will he consider it? Not yet, but he's going to try and use DRS. Later, Stumpy will have DRS on Cargo, so we're going to have a little DRS train going down the back straightaway for 11th, 12th, and 13th. Stumpy cruising by Cargo there under DRS, but under braking, Cargo's going to try and make a crossover work. Neck and neck still. Sean is caught up, and Stumpy is still there.
Oh no, but Stumpy goes on the inside. Cargo make contact. They're still side by side. Cargo going to be in the inside line. He's going to have the better line. Still side by side here. Cargo.
He's got it.
Wide. And is Stumpy going to go? Stumpy gets a free time. Free time. Herbie, he's going for it as well.
Neck at 19.
He's going to go around the outside.
He's going to get a time penalty if he doesn't give up that time. He gains spots off track.
Yeah, and now Sean, he's in the mix as well, and Smish is going to be as well. All this fight is going to bring the hard runners into play.
And now Cargo is at the best thing is in the best scenario possible. His tires are much more worn than these cars, but he was able to overtake them on worn tires, and he's starting to open up the gap on them just a little bit.
Yeah, if Cargo can get a decent gap to pit into, obviously at the end of the race on the hards, on the softs, they'll be way quicker than anybody else on the field.
Scholl is right underneath Stumpy right now. This is going to get really aggressive here going down. Scholl is looking at the outside of Stumpy going into the hairpin. He'll back out of it, but Smish is going to have DRS on Scholl, who's going to have DRS on Stumpy, who's going to have DRS on Herbie.
Yeah, this is a massive DRS train here. Scholl had a bit of an issue coming out of the hairpin, had a bit of a slide. Gonna go too wide into this corner. He's gonna come out on top. Looks like it's Scholl. Easy move. Nice and double. Oh no! Stumpy comes back. And oh my
Scholl
god!
comes back, locks up the brakes, and is going to lose that position. Cuts right down in front of Smish in the Ferrari.
Yeah, that was a pretty unsafe dive bomb, I would say. Don't think it was intentional. I think he just missed his braking point a bit. Got a bit trigger happy. And yeah, that is going to bring Smish into play. And he's on the hards as well, so he can just go to the end easily. And he's pitting actually.
Herbie has caught Cargo.
Smish is pitting.
Now that's interesting, but Herbie has caught Cargo. He's going to try and go for a DRS overtake here in turn 1. He's going to look to the outside. He's betting on Cargo not able to make the corner. Cargo makes the corner, so he will not make the overtake now, but I think those mediums are falling off just a little bit, and Herbie's going to be putting pressure on Cargo. Cargo, his main focus is that he needs to stay ahead of Herbie and somehow make up the 14-second gap between himself and Books, because Cargo desperately needs to get any points possible. Otherwise, it will be between Cargo and Retro for getting the point for fastest lap outside the top 10.
Yeah, they're both Mercs in the points, so that's good for both Mercs. But Cargo, he really needs to open a gap up. He needs to shake off Herbie, because Herbie's losing him time massively. But these two, Cargo and Herbie, have gained a massive gap to something showed obviously with that little incident that they had. And now showed is back at the back of this four-man battle. And Herbie and Cargo going side by side there. But Cargo still ahead of this little battle that we're having here. Oh,
Turbo has caught Fratters even farther back. Go ahead.
Yeah, just a note, Fight Waldo, 10 seconds. 10. That is like a pit stop.
That's roughly 2/3 of a second a lap he's gaining over Atui right now. And Atui is no slouch. I want to make it very clear. Atui was at one point contending for... Yeah, Atui was contending for the championship early in the season. He had a little bit of a streak of bad luck compared to his teammate Cargo, and that's why he's kind of been relegated to the second driver in that team. But he's absolutely one of the fastest drivers here, and Waldo is walking all over him right now.
Yeah, Waldo, he is insanely quick. You know what I find weird? I don't get how people are so quick. I just don't get it. I really don't. But anyway, yeah. So I'm Waldo now flying. I think it's too early to say, but I think he is probably. If you went to a betting shop and XRL was on, Fine Waldo would be like 100 to 1.
Huge dive bomb on Tino Farah there in the slower corners. That was picture perfect. Boothie is having no problem moving back up through the field. He pitted early to jump onto those mediums, and he's really quickly cutting through the field. He's already got by Tino Farah, and now has Constant Jet in his sights. Constant Jet's not even going to try and fight it.
Yeah, and so is Tino Farah.
But the good news for Boothie is that Boothie was close enough to Constant Jet that Boothie...
Oh, go on.
Well, I'm just going to say Boothie will have a little bit of a bump on his way. He'll have DRS on that straight, so because he was close enough to the drivers around him. So Boothie...
Oh, see, Turbo still has to pit, but Boothie doesn't. Boothie does not have to pit. So this means that Boothie may be in a chance for a podium. He needs it. He needs his, fire to be lit again, And Whippy, he's up in 5th place. He still needs to pit.
Here comes Cargo!
Ooh,
Cargo dive bombs on Herbie going into turn 1.
Yeah, look at that.
He made it work.
No, but Herbie fighting back. Still too wide. Didn't go too wide through the S's though. No.
Down, I wouldn't do that. That's not very safe. Ooh, Herbie bounced out of that. And as these two, they're losing time fighting with each other, but despite that, Books is on 12-lap born sauce. He is hemorrhaging time on track. So while these two may be fighting, the points position of 10th is coming closer and closer. Cargo desperately needs to stay ahead of Herbie under any circumstance just so he can get himself into the points paying positions.
Yeah, Cargo really needs to shake off Herbie here. You know, Herbie is doing a great job of hindering Cargo. You know, these two may be friends off the track, but these two guys are battling like real rivals, you know? So, you know, yeah, Cargo needs to shake off Herbie fast, because Cargo's losing so much time, and Waldo is pitted, so that means that
R18 is pitted as well.
Yeah, R18 is pitted as well, so Tone, wow, look at the gap, right? Jesus Christ. Like, it's only
That's
1
nothing.
second. 1 second,
That's
and he did a
nothing.
pit stop. Oh my Jesus, holy moly, macaroni and cheese with a slice side.
Whippy and Snake are pitting as well right now.
Yeah, so Whippy and Snake are pitting, but Tom, whatever you want to call him.
Snake has made his pit stop.
Snake has made his pit stop, but Tom needs to hinder Waldo, because obviously he's on fresh stuff. He needs to battle him if he doesn't want Waldo to get the win here. Waldo not going for the dive bomb on Tone just yet, but Boovy now, he's up to 3rd. With Tone pitting, he will be 2nd. But can this be a good result for Boovy, finally?
It's very much possible right now, but look at Waldo. He is putting mad pressure on Tone. He doesn't even need to, but he's just sitting right there like, hi, how you doing? I'd like my lead back, please. Thank you very much. I wonder how long Tome's going to stay out on these tires. He's staying. No, he's coming in now.
Yeah, pitting now. Good choice there. Got quite a nice gap to fit into here. But I just want to note that Tina Farrow's got past Constant for 6th place here. Constant needs to find that a little bit more pace to get past Tina Farrow now. But yeah, actually, he's going to inherit 3rd place as Tome drops back a little bit. He might even, Tome is going to get 5th place, to say sorry. And he'll be right on Careless Jackson's bum for 4th place. So we could see, you know, the Haas team get really good points here today in the home Grand Prix. That is basically a dream for an American team. And that rhymed.
The two Mercedes drivers are still fighting for points. Snake is 2nd. Books has just made a stop, and he's fallen to 13th. Might even lose 14th as well now. Also of note, Cargo is 18th. Retro is 16th. Cargo's gap on Retro it's constantly changing because there are all these drivers in the back half of the field are now making their final stops. But Retro is right now about 3 seconds ahead of Cargo, and neither of them are in points paid positions right now. If something was to happen on track, though, one of them might get into the points, but it would have to be something massive at the front. But right now, neither of our points-paying drivers are in points-paying positions unless one of them ends up getting the points for fastest lap in the race from in the back half of the field.
We'll see to the fastest outside the top 10. If they do stay out of the top 10, you know, there could be a massive chance. Oh, and I think that is that's Boovy. Yeah, he's in the pits.
He only ran 7 laps on the mediums, but this is going to really shake everything up.
Yeah.
I assume
he's got wing damage. Yeah, he's got wing damage.
Oh. Yeah. So Boothie, who is on pace to a more than likely a podium position, now has to try and salvage whatever points possible. I think he might even lose 8th to Snake here.
No, he's only just going to come
Snake's
out ahead.
Be right there.
Yeah.
Well, Snake's going to have fresh tires, and Boothies aren't going to be that fresh, so... Now Boothies going to hold up by the looks of it. Okay. Also, congrats to Herbie. Herbie is back in the points paying positions. He's 10th right now. But he's on 7-lap worn medium, so it's interesting to see. And Retro has lost the position to Books, so those hards are dropping off for Retro. He has lost the spot to Books, and Cargo is now within 2 seconds. These are your 2 championship leaders. Neither of them fighting for points at this point. They're probably fighting for ego in the hopes that a bunch of drivers ahead of them make a mistake. Retro is caught in the draft of the drivers ahead of them.
And now Cargo's really near Retro Rixie here. These 2 rivals are going to want to fight each other massively. But obviously, as we know, as I told you before, the softs, fresh softs are very, and they're going to go for a dive on here. Cargo's going to go for a dive on Retro Rixie. Nice.
Oh, they made contact twice!
Yeah.
Retro came down on him like it was Jacques Villeneuve and Michael Schumacher.
Yeah, that was very unfortunate for Retro Rixie there. But Cargo is now on the fresher softs, his own softs, very fresh tyres, and he's ultimately ahead of Retro Rixie. So we could see a charge from Cargo here. But so yeah, Constant Jet and Tina Farah still going at it with each other. Snake has just got past Boovie with the DRS here going to turn 1. Boovie's going to make a massive dive bomb. Doesn't work. Snake closes the door, which he has rights to, and Boovie ultimately loses a lot of time there. And Snake gets his first penalty of the race, and that is very unfortunate. But Whippy, he's got no penalties. Could we see him jump up to maybe 5th? We could. As Tina Farah, 18 seconds.
Ooh, that's no bueno. Something else of note, we don't see this very often. For one, it's very rare that we have all 20 drivers running on track this late in an X3 race. The drivers in 19th and 20 are slugging it out like they're fighting for points right now. Like Schultz and Fratters are on each other's ass and passing each other almost every lap right now. Like, the number of battles on track, everywhere from like 3rd to the back, is so numerous. And the fact that we've not had any massive accidents, almost everyone outside of the top 2 are like constantly fine. Like, this is probably going, if we stay like this could end up being the best race of the year for X3.
Yeah,
like, this is ridiculous.
And we have Friday, Smith, Kirby, and Tina Farah. If they get another penalty, they'll be disqualified from the race. So they need to be
Cargo!
very careful.
Cargo and Steel make contact, and Cargo has wing damage!
Oh no. That is not good for Cargo.
When Steel went off track, and then Steel merged back on at a very aggressive angle,
and
then made contact again! And now both of those cars have significant wing damage. Are they going to stay out? Because here's the thing, Retro is right there. He has no wing damage at the moment, but he's on very worn, hard tires.
Yeah, so Cargo stays out, and so does Steel. Smish is now pitting. He's going to go for the fastest outside. Oh no, he retires from the race.
Oh, Smish is retiring.
Yeah, I don't know why he would do that, but anyway. Yeah, that was not very good from Steel there.
Battle for 3rd.
Third. Oh yeah. Curtis Jackson and Tome. So could we see Curtis Jackson after he won in Russia? Could we see him get a very oh no, Waldo and Swish's AI are going to be close together on the track. This is going to really hinder Fine Waldo here, but he's 10 seconds. Oh, Jesus Christ! Swish's AI nearly took out Waldo. And is it going to affect Athlete as well?
Yeah, because Otto's going to catch him right here in the middle of the race.
Yeah, but he's off track. It's pulled off. Okay. And but yeah, back to you saying, battle for 30 here. The hat of Exotom and the Blarin of Curtis Jackson. Obviously, he had a win in Russia. How did he do in Japan? Do you know?
It could have been better.
Yeah,
it wasn't horrible. It could have been better. But I'll say for this, Curtis Jackson probably changed his wings 4 times during qualifying Q1 and Q2. So if Curtis Jackson here fighting for a podium after damaging the car that many times, I think that says a lot about both the setup of the car and the talent of the driver behind it.
Yeah, the setup could have been better for the race than maybe the actual qualifying. So yeah, Curtis Jackson you know, he also has pace. But yeah, so we can see him maybe get third if can't hang on to that third
Tino
position.
Farah and Constant Jet neck and neck now. And it's
Ooh,
going
yeah.
to be Tino Farah just barely ahead of Constant Jet for the moment. Fritz now has a 3-second time penalty added to him.
That's Whippy has that time penalty now. Well, let's be real. Constant and Tino Farah, 18 and 9 seconds. Whippy only needs to keep that 3 second like it is, and he'll gain 2 positions.
But Whippy's right there under Constant Jet's rear wing right now, and obviously wants to try and get even more. Also of note, the damage that Steel took from the wing earlier has really hindered him. Steel has dropped all the way to 17th. Cargo is still running fine, and Retro is not too far off of him. But for right now, it's not looking good. Also of note, Retro is one of the few drivers who does not have a time penalty yet, while Cargo does.
Massively though, the Retro Richie. Sorry to cut you off.
No, you're fine. You're fine. There's so much stuff going on that we basically have no choice but to cut each other off to just try and keep track of everything that's going on the circuit.
Yeah, definitely. So now, XRL Whippy, he's right on Constant Jet. Doesn't need to overtake him, but Constant Jet is really hindering Whippy.
He's going for it.
They're going side by side. Constant way off the track there, and Whippy gets the move done and out of the way, and also has DRS, so now he can charge and try and overtake Tino Farah, who doesn't get
he does not have
time.
DRS.
Oh no, sorry, I thought you would. Sorry.
Nope,
Yeah,
Constant
so
Jet has
Constant
DRS though,
back.
so Constant Jet's fighting back.
No, he's gonna stay behind. And yeah. Am I shouting? Okay.
I mean, I think we're all shouting right now, mate.
Yeah.
Fritz is right on the back of Retro right now, because Retro is being held up by the Ferrari of Turbo, and it's keeping... Retro's not really able to make anything happen on the cars ahead of him without DRS, because those hards are so worn. They're reliable, they're not going to die on him, more than likely, but he's not able to make any moves on it, and now Fritz is going to have DRS on Retro.
And it looks
DRS train between these three.
It looks like Fritz actually has lower wings, so he's got more shameless speed. Is he going to send it into his corner? He is, and he's going to get a double move.
Oh, they made contact!
Oh, yeah, that was not very good. I thought he was going to make a double move, but it didn't really work.
Oh,
and
Retro spins!
Oh.
Retro spins right in front of Fritz. And now Steel is back in the fight. With a damaged wing, Steel is back here. He wants to get back by Fritz. And Cargo wants this to keep going desperately, because right now, for Cargo, the question is, what are the penalties? Cargo has 9 seconds of penalty, Retro has 3. So Cargo needs to open 6 seconds over Retro to ensure he stays ahead of Retro. But again, neither of those guys are in points-paying positions. That's the other thing to consider. What is necessary to consider, though, is that Herbie, who is currently 10th on the track, has 18 seconds worth of time penalties. The way it is right now, he would lose that and would drop out of the points. Books would end up back in the points-paying positions.
Tino Farah defending for his life, and Whippy goes down the inside there, nearly takes Whippy out actually as he cuts across him. But Whippy doesn't really need to push it, as obviously Tino Farah has 18 seconds worth of penalties, and if he gets one more, he's disqualified. So, but yeah, Tino Farah has to be very careful.
Same thing with Herbie. If Herbie gets another penalty, he's going to be disqualified. So, this is getting really...
And Fritz as well, so...
Well, Fratters is a lap off pace, so I'm not sure that would change much for him. For Fritz, Fritz is only 6 seconds ahead of Steel when it comes to penalties right now.
Trying to go for the switch back to Tino Farah. Going to make it stick.
It's working!
Yeah,
it's working!
Oh no, but Tino Farah's going to come back at him, and it stays. Whippy gets ahead of Tino Farah in the S's.
And Tino Farah gets washed up a bit in the aerodynamic wake from that Red Bull, so now Constant Jet is closing back in on Tino Farah once more.
Yeah, so Constant Jet, he'll get past Tino Farah anyway. 2 laps to go here. I think Van Moda has won this race unless something significantly goes wrong.
Boothy's in this battle as well, so Boothy's not done yet.
It
says Atwi has left the session, and he's second with a 6-second time penalty. He's not that far ahead of Tone. If the AI that takes over for that car is really bad, he might lose second to Tone.
massive dive from there. Doesn't get it stick though. But it's going to go around the outside. Concentrate. Is he going to make it stick? No, he isn't. Constant.
No, he can't make it stick. He's making it stick still.
No,
he's ahead.
Oh, what a move. But Constant is going to come back at him. Going to go too wide. No. Boozy stays ahead.
He tried to make the crossover work in turn 15, but the rear end of the car stepped out and he wasn't able to
pitching. The AI pitching.
And now Anwi is going to drop out of the podium positions, and now the top three drivers are Waldo, Tome, and Careless Jackson. Anwi, this is going to hurt any chance that the Alfa Romeo had at getting owner points taken over, because Anwi's going to be fourth while Fine Waldo is going to cruise off to a victory here. In fact, Whippy is going to be close. Whippy might overtake Anwi's AI.
Match R18's AI is very slow. So if Whippy can get past R18's AI, then that would be a very good move from him here. I know.
Tino Farah,
and Ashley's going back. Ashley's going back. So good to see Ashley pull the gap now, but he's not going to be happy at all that he's lost the podium position. And Ashley's left again.
Dives on Tino. Neck and neck on the back straightaway now between Tino Farah and Boothby.
Tino Farah, 21 seconds. He's gonna get disqualified. So's Fritz. And that's the yellow flag in sector 3. Who is that? That was Stumpy.
The Williams has just made contact. The Williams of Kazakhstan just made contact with Tino Farah. Tino Farah just cut right down into him.
And now Constant is back past Tino Farah, but Boovy is now back, both of them. But Snake, he's in the battle as well. He's only got 3 seconds. The other guys have 6, 9, and 21. Could Snake jump all these guys? We'll have to see. But this is going to be very close, coming on the last lap now. And, you know, Waldo has definitely got us in the back now. 21 seconds. He's lapping people, actually.
Atui is pitting again!
Atui's pitting again!
This could be it. This could be Cargo's chance at potentially getting points. But with the cost of his teammate, but with Atui getting penalty after penalty, he's now 8th on the track. No, it's not going to happen. I put way too much emphasis on that. I'm sorry. But still, that's going to shake everything up. Atui, who had been ranked 2nd all day long, is now nowhere near the front. Also, Careless Jackson is close enough to Tome that no, Careless Jackson is 3 seconds early, so he can't fight Tome. Curses, never mind. I'm getting a little bit too excited right now. There's too much stuff going on.
And it's the last lap as well. But Fine Bordeaux coming around the final few corners now. Stellar drive from him today. What an amazing race. Did absolutely everything perfect. Is gonna try and lap Stumpy in the last lap. But Fine Bordeaux wins XRL USA. What an amazing race from him. Tone, he's going to come around the final few corners now and come.
Tino Farah, another 3-second time penalty. 24 seconds worth of penalty now.
He's going to drop back so far. It's going to be unbelievable. But Herbie, he's got 18 seconds. If he can keep that 18 seconds down, he will not get disqualified. And yellow flag. Fritz has gone around. And he's hit, like, multiple people.
Fritz and Scholl involved in an accident here at the end of the race. Whippy is coming around. Whippy is going to take home 4th. Boothby spins the car out coming out of the final quarter. He's going to come home 5th. Here comes Constantin. He'll come across the line 6th, but Snake will overtake Boothby and Constantin, so move the Mercedes up into the 5th. Here comes Oddway after the AI, force him to take 2 extra stops at the end. He's going to come across the line now in 8th, but he also has time penalties to take into consideration.
Tino Farah out of 9th. How far is he going to drop? Let's have a look. 10th.
Books overtakes him. Here comes Herbie, Tino Farah's teammate.
11th.
Herbie will jump Tino Farah. Here comes Cargo. He's 12th. This is one of our points leaders. I think Cargo is too far back. He's not going to be able to take any more spots on the grid. At the line. No, Cargo will only be 12th. Turbo 13th, and Retro 21 lap old hard will come across the line 14th. Steel 15th, Stumpy coming down to the line 16th. Well, once he crosses the line, he'll be 16th. And now Scholl will come across. No, Scholl will actually overtake Stumpy. So So Schuld will be 16th, Stumpy will be 17th, and now Fritz, no wing on the front of Fritz's car after that last lap accident there in the S's, but Fritz will come across the line in 18th, I believe. This was a crazy, crazy race. I don't care what you say. That was stupid. And stupid fun, not stupid bad, like stupid fun. There was so much stuff going on.
And driver of the day, XRL Steel. Obviously that's the game driver of the day. We will have a vote in our X3 chat. Guys, what an amazing race. Action-packed to the max. Like, I'm sweating from commentating. I usually only sweat for racing. I felt like I was actually in the race. That was crazy. But yeah, what an amazing race. What an amazing race for Waldo and Tome as well. Amazing race for him. And Careless Jackson. So, could this be a good treat for Careless Jackson? We don't know. Good result from Whipping Snake here. Unfortunately for Adtwee, pitted him twice. Very unfortunate for Adtwee. But it is what it is. And obviously, we know a few drivers who are going to get disqualified from this race here today.
Alright, real quickly, I'm trying to see who had the best lap in the back end of the field. Tino Farah 134, Schuld 134, Stumpy 133. So it doesn't look like either of our championship contender or championship points leaders got the point for fastest lap there. So
it would be Stumpy.
It would be between the two. Yeah, it looks like Stumpy has the best lap in the back of the field. So good job on Stumpy there. Craziness though. One second, I'm gonna find Waldo in here. I'm damn curious what he has to say about the race because we were losing our mind basically the entire time from everything going on from like basically second on back the entire race, and Waldo was gone and not involved in anything. I'm really curious if there was anything of note that went on for his race.
Yes, Waldo. Well done. What a race.
Hola.
Waldo, back-to-back wins from the pole in a very difficult qualifying session. I'm just going to say, Waldo, you better be thanking your lucky stars you started in the front because everyone from 2nd to 20th were going chaotic the entire race. What do you have to say about your event today?
It's just like everything clicked. Like, it was just a perfect race for me. It's perfect. Can't really say anything else.
Went well for you.
Yeah, and no penalties to take it away from me.
Yeah. Honestly, amazing drive, mate. You've got really good consistency. I wouldn't be surprised if you go to X2 next season. To be fair, because you have amazing pace. But well done on the win, mate. Amazing drive, and go and enjoy that champagne.
Yeah, thank you, buddy. Thank you.
Yeah, Felicitari to you once again.
Yeah.
But anyways, there you are, 2 wins back-to-back for our race for Find Waldo. Absolutely incredible. Oh, wow, this entire race. Also, and you said it several times,